You're listening to Inclusive AF with Jackye Clayton and Katee Van Horn.
Welcome to the Inclusive AF podcast. I'm Katee Van Horn.
And I am Jackye Clayton. I learned that on YouTube this week. That's how you're supposed to say your name. Jackye, wait for it, Clayton.
I did that last week and you yelled at me, so I don't think that's true.
I hadn't saw the video first. So now that I've seen it, even though we're like best friends, I took a stranger on YouTube to confirm whether or not I was going to buy into that belief system or not.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. I think that's just when I'm like not really paying attention to what I'm doing when we first start the podcast, which is great. You know, that's how we roll.
Yeah, I love that.
So we have an awesome, fun guest today, one of my favorite humans on the planet. And we're going to talk about some cool stuff. So welcome to Ashten Fizer.
Hey, I just realized like my name puts the AF in inclusive as AM. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey,
so this is perfect. We had a plan. We had a plan all along, Ashten. It's a plan. So when we have guests on the podcast, we like to start with, you know, a little bit of your bio, but it's also just about your identity. So whatever you are comfortable sharing, we'd love you to tell our listeners a little bit about you.
Sure. I could tell you like my full story or the short one. But yes, I'm currently living in Phoenix, Arizona, originally from Chicago. My pronouns are she and her, but I identify as a bisexual Black woman. So I am all types of minorities. And right now I am working at GoDaddy. That's the reason why I moved to Phoenix. I've been there over 6 years now. And I DJ also. So that's kind of my life at the moment. So
awesome. And what's your DJ name again?
Ashten. So I figured I'd just make it easy. It wasn't before. I had like a crazy name before. It was like Friday Adams, but like really all of my friends were like, you know, your first name is actually pretty legit.
Right.
So,
Let's go with that.
Use that. And it's easy. It doesn't confuse people. You know, people just know it's Ashten just across the board. So yeah.
I love that. That's a cute name.
Thank you. I'll let my mom know you said that.
Yeah. See, my kids are old and now it's like, it's too late. Like I can't go back and do that, but I'm going to write it down just in case.
Well, it was actually supposed to be an Ashley. She and her best friend were pregnant at the exact same time. And her best friend literally had her baby a month before me and named her Ashley. So then there was a 30-day scramble of what to figure out to name me. I was going to be an Ariel or Ariel or whatever we were going to pronounce it. But then her friend was like, why don't you just do Ashten? You like the Ash thing, just change it. She was like, oh, okay, that's what we'll do. So.
And Ashten is way cooler than Ashley.
I would
be
say
clear.
So. I would
just,
say so.
Just so we're all on the same
I fully
page.
agree with that. Fully.
So we're actually going to dig in on your DJ story a little bit and your philosophy. So we recently have had an introduction to a new Snoop Dogg video, which shall remain nameless because Jackye is not a fan. Not that I'm a fan, but go Snoop. And so we were wondering kind of what your philosophy is around music and kind of how you think about songs that maybe are derogatory towards women, men, whoever they might be derogatory towards. What do you think about when you're thinking about that as a DJ?
So truly, it kind of start with my philosophy as a DJ. So when it comes to like how I DJ, what kind of events I do and things like that, I truly am really like a feel-good DJ. Like I want to play feel-good music. I want music where everybody's dancing, everybody's happy, that kind of vibe. So honestly, I do not do a lot of like, and I know this is going to sound horrible. I don't do a lot of rap. Now I do distinguish between rap and hip hop. To me, those are two totally separate genres. So I do hip hop. I actually tour with a hip hop artist sometimes. So that's really fun. But when it comes to rap, music, I am very selective about what I play because for one, I focus on energies a lot lately. And as a DJ, you are creating the energy for the party or the event or the room. So when it comes to when we say derogatory music, yes, I will dig in the crates and like kind of pull out that old school Uncle Luke and stuff like that, because at the same time, it's feel good music. What I don't usually play is a lot of the stuff that has come out lately where I know out of Chicago, it's a genre called drill music where they're explicitly talking about selling drugs and shooting people. That is not my forte. I know that in a lot of the popular rap artists right now, a lot of them are actually struggling with depression if you listen to the music, and it's actually really sad. So that's kind of where I go with that. So for me, it's not, I'm not necessarily thinking about if it's derogatory towards a certain group, although like if there are music where it's straight up derogatory to the LGBT community, I'm not playing it, period. Just not, it's not, I don't even have it on my computer. But you've seen over time where male artists, no matter the genre, have written derogatory songs towards women. It's been accepted over time. It's just that I limit myself at where we are killing people, killing ourselves. All my friends are dead, push me to the edge. I'm not going there with you, I'm sorry. So as long as it's music that creates that good vibe, maybe you have good memories from it, or it's music that's traditionally played at those gatherings where it's a cookout or it's a celebration and things like that. Those are the songs I gravitate to personally. So I play what makes me feel good, and usually it's what makes other people feel good. I know that we had a couple ladies recently come out with a song that got a lot of attention because of the explicitness of the lyrics. There's been explicit lyrics in rap music forever. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that song was very well done because they actually used a lot of imagery and a lot of ways to describe intercourse that I would have never thought of. So I actually commend them for that. But yeah, my philosophy is feel good music. I don't want to play anything that's going to trigger a fight or trigger bad memories or all of a sudden everybody's depressed. I'm there to keep people out of their seats, make you forget about all the bills you have at home or problems in life, and actually have a feel good time. So anything that doesn't feel good, I'm not playing it.
Let's not have to have trigger warnings on a playlist.
Right.
It's like, before we play this, just these
if anybody's
things might
suffering from any mental health issues, you may want to step out of the room. Like, yeah, no.
So right now, who are your favorite artists that you're listening to that is that feel good vibe?
So I will say, okay, so I'm all over the place as far as music goes, just to be honest. So there is a young rapper out of Chicago named Toby Lou. He's a personal favorite just because his vocabulary, his imagination is so vivid and it comes to life in his music. It's just really fun to listen and then re-listen and pick up on those things that you didn't catch the last time. So he's a fun one. There's another group called Pillar Point, and they have a lot of fun feel good music as well. I don't even know what genre you kind of put them in. They're almost kind of like the new disco kind of genre. So they're really feel good. And honestly, I really enjoy Megan Thee Stallion. And I don't know if it's the music per se, or if it's her story that I love, because like she's this young woman, she lost her mother and her grandmother just before she got famous. That was her support system. She's in school while pursuing this rap career. I think she graduated recently. And then she went through that incident, I think it was last summer, with the person she was dating, and there was a shooting, and she even the way she carried herself, even through that, I was inspired. And the girl is 25. I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I want to be like her when I grow up. So for me, I don't know if I'm inspired just by her as a person, everything she's been through, how she carries herself as this gorgeous young lady who's intelligent with a degree and promotes going to school and also doing what you love. So yeah, those are my favorites right now.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
I love that. We're just so, I mean, it's like people are multifaceted. Quit trying to put people in boxes. Like, let people be all the things.
Exactly.
Right? Can we bring all the things with us? It's because we are a product of all the things. So, you know, we're not just one
thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start a conversation next, and then I'm just going to listen because this isn't really my topic of knowledge in any way, shape, or form. So you have mentioned recently on social media that you're kind of going through a hair awakening, hair revival, whatever we want to call it. I don't know what you're calling it per se, but just really talking about how you're letting your natural hair grow. So would love to, like I said, I'll be listening as you all have this conversation.
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you go through a big chop moment, or did you just let it go?
No, wait till, okay, let me tell you the story. Okay, so.
There's a whole story.
Oh,
A
yeah.
whole story.
There always is. Always is.
Me and Sharon have been through a lot. Okay. So growing up, I've always had just a ton of hair. And so my mom was a single mom raising me on her own. And so she had a woman that did take care of me from like when I was 6 months old up until I went off to college. And so, you know, at that time, I was born in 87. So growing up in the 90s, the thing was perms for Black girls. So I had all this thick, long hair. They were the ones that had to do my hair. So they kind of convinced my mom to perm it. So I was permed, I think from the age of 6 through high school. Senior year high school. Okay, no, junior year high school, my mom let me dye my hair. I've always wanted to dye my hair. That's been a thing for me. And as many people with hair know, perm chemicals and bleaching chemicals aren't good bedfellows. So she did allow me to go to a hairdresser. She always took me to a hairdresser, but she allowed the hairdresser in like my junior year to give me highlights. So that set it off. After that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sticking with this hair dyeing thing. So my senior year, just before college, me and my best friend had this fantastic idea. Let's go to Walgreens, buy a box of bleach and color each other's hair. Now, she and I had very different hair textures. Okay, so her hair came out fantastic. It was beautiful for freshman year. Mine, not so much. I kind of more so came out looking like the straw that they stuff scarecrows with. So now I'm off to college. Now I'm off to college. I have never done my own hair. My mom had me on a 2-week scheduled hair appointment with a hairdresser. And then in between that, I would go to the bathroom while she was getting ready in the morning, sit on the toilet, and she would put my hair in a ponytail. This is all that. I never did my own hair. College. No one put me through the how to do your own hair tutorial. So I get to college, have no clue what I'm doing, freshly bleached from a box hair, it begins to fall out. So I think I came home in the fall of my freshman year, and basically I had some of my hair on top still, but pretty much everything in the back had almost fallen out. So she took me to a hairdresser, and basically, and I hadn't permed my own hair either. So we got the tension from the dye. We have the tension from this new growth that's coming in over like a half of a year because I don't know how to do my own hair, so I haven't permed it. And then we have the permed hair on the ends, just, you know, abort ship, jumping off. So I ended up having to get a haircut. So that was like my first short haircut that I had to wear for a while my hair grew back out. But again, still don't know how to do my own hair. So I'm not perming it, and it ended up going natural in college just by way of it falling out and having to just start over. So once it went natural, I was like, okay, well, I guess this is my chance where I can really start dyeing my hair now, because now I don't have to deal with the perm. Still don't know what to do with it. So I'm dyeing and frying at this point, still falling out. Okay, you with me? So finally, I start really getting to a point where I'm getting to know the other girls in school, and they're really helping me really get to know my hair. And so I'm still like keeping it straight. But you know, it is natural, but I only straighten it because that's the only way I know how to manage it. So I'm dyeing and frying all through college, still going through it. Came down to Arizona from Chicago. That's a totally different climate for hair. So my dyed hair started breaking off again. I'm like, okay, well, it's natural and it's breaking off. So, okay, freaking out. What do I do now? So had to go through this extra moisturizing thing. So anywho, long story short. So Katee, you've known me for a while, and you know I've always kind of been an advocate for diversity and inclusion just across the board, not only at work, but just in life in general. And I kind of came to this revelation before COVID hit. And it was, I don't remember what I was getting ready for, but it was like the day before wash day. So, you know, day before wash day, your hair really isn't doing what you want it to do. It's dirty, it's heavy. None of the curls are curling the way you want them to. I still got straggly, funny looking ends because I'm still frying my hair. And I just decided, I was like, you know, if I'm constantly advocating for diversity and inclusion, and especially belonging and people being able to be themselves and show up as their full authentic selves, and it's what I'm preaching at work constantly, and I'm literally not, how can I continue to advocate for others if I don't even feel comfortable showing up as my full self yet? So I still don't know what to do with my natural hair. So at that point I was like, okay, what I'll do is I'll start getting braids, and I'll figure it out along the way, but I'll just keep my hair in braids. So as you know, Katee, I was wearing a pixie cut for a very, very long time. Basically right before COVID hit, I started, you know, kind of braiding, getting my hair braided constantly, and just keeping it in braids. And I think in the last few months, one of my hair braiders, she decided to like take a break. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't do braids. So I got to figure something out. So now I have all this hair that I didn't have before natural, because even before with the pixie cut, I'm like, okay, I got to wash and go. Just put a little Miss Jessie's in it, keep going. That's okay. But you actually have to know what to do with hair if you have a lot of it on your head. So actually, the revelation took place as I was preparing for the panel you invited me to for Phoenix Startup Week, where I was really kind of panicking once again, like, what do I do with my hair? I don't know what to do. I can't keep showing up in these Afro puffs. These are my COVID Afro puffs. I just did this because no one else is really going to see me. And then I had a moment where I was just like, it's a diversity panel. And I'm going to be advocating for people showing up as their full authentic selves. I'm going to have to start showing up as my full authentic self. So I am kind of now on this journey where I am attempting to embrace my hair as it naturally grows out of my head. Not the color, I'm still gonna keep dyeing it. But really going heatless and not putting heat on my hair and not straightening it, and just wearing my hair as it grows out of my head and enjoying it for what it is, and being comfortable looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I do look cute. So yeah, so it's just kind of a journey, an identity journey of me just embracing myself and this particular piece of myself, and no longer feeling like I have to straighten it to be accepted, or it has to look a certain way. Like, this is me, this is who I am, this is how my hair grows, and this is it. So yes, I'm there now. I am embracing myself and I'm moving forward.
I was about to say, how's it feel?
It feels really good, actually. Like it feels much better I'm not anxious about figuring out what to do with it. I love it. I love my Afro puffs. I look back at a school picture for 7th grade and I was like, oh, I had Afro puffs then too. So this is okay. So I'm really loving it. I get so many compliments. I'm like, really? These two little things? You love it? Okay. So yeah, I'm loving it.
You're cute.
Thank you.
I like them.
And then my coworker's daughter, she started this business during COVID of like barrettes. I'm like, now I can wear the barrettes I bought. So
They're cute. I like it. I don't have any hair. I have some,
oh,
but I have to cut it.
I loved having very little hair. It was very nice, especially in the Phoenix summers.
Fully. But it's funny, like when you don't, I didn't realize like when I first took all of my hair off, like how sweaty, like literally there's nothing to catch it. And it's like in my eyeball, like literally in my eyeball. I was like, like the first time. And even we went to Six Flags and I went outside and I was like, oh, it's hot. Like I could just feel it right on my head.
Right. Like, there's no coverage. Yeah.
Like, wow. Ain't that something? But it's important, you know, like I think I actually changed my Twitter name to Don't Touch My Hair. That's what it says for my name.
That is my favorite thing.
This is William Tincup, and I'd like to direct you to a wonderful limited series podcast that Ryan and I recorded live at the ERE Recruiting Innovation Summit. We sat down with 20 recruiting and TA leaders from around the world to hear what today's best recruiters are doing to stay sharp, stay relevant, and stay ahead. It's called The Talent Shift. You'll love it. You'll find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Listen, like, review, share. Do you?
So Ashten, Jackye has not one, but two children, well, soon to be, in HBCU in Houston. And Miss Ashten is Austin. Dang it, I always do that.
Oh, it's Houston till it's in Austin. I know, it's confusing.
Oh, yes, there you go.
That's part of the Houston
too.
came in. Yeah.
Ashten is a graduate of the wonderful Howard University. So she's also, what's
I almost went to Spelman, but I visit campus and I saw that there was no air conditioning in those dorms.
It's a little warm.
I refused to go down to Atlanta and not have air conditioning.
That is awesome. So what's the chant for Howard?
It is HU, you know. It's my favorite.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Anything else on hair? Jackye, any other?
What?
Anything else on hair?
Oh. Don't touch my hair. Can I just add that? Don't touch it.
Continue
and
to call yourself
that. Expound upon that. Just so if people just don't understand why don't touch my hair is a thing, you know, no human, dogs don't even want to be approached unwillingly in pets. Okay, so just know that a human being equally does not want that. So when you just feel like you see some hair that you really just want to reach for, just don't.
You know, last week, you know, the show Last Week Tonight, he just did one on hair and it's so funny. Like it just came out this week. And part of it that's so funny is because, you know, he's this white guy from England and he's talking about all the hair and he learned all the stuff. And it's just so funny hearing the things coming out of his mouth. And it's fully all about hair and about the Crown Act. And I think it's important to talk about hair and about how people don't understand that it is your crown. I think there's been a lot of things that have just been painful in regards to it. And I don't think people understand. There's a couple of things. Number one, of course, like I said, don't touch it. Just don't touch people. Like consent is a thing, right? Like I shouldn't say don't touch my hair. Don't touch me is what I should just say. Like fully, just don't touch me. But the other thing is, you know, I don't think people recognize like it is a transition. I think people fully go through a transition because of the way that things are going. Like you learn to hate who you are and not be able to embrace who you are. I too was a every 2 week hair person and went to college and didn't know how to do my hair. And I did a lot of work. I've done a lot of things. I did what is called the big chop, which is a lot of women who've gone from chemical straightening to their hair, go down to a short base afro, cut all the perm piece off, because literally When I went and I looked at it, it's like 3 hairs in a bow. Like you literally have this big, huge tuft, and literally there's like 3 hairs coming out of a piece like this big, because all of it has been straightened. You don't realize the damage that you're doing to yourself. And I just saw, it's funny because that came up, and then I was just watching something else, and it was like Malcolm X talking about people straightening their hair and stuff like that. And so it's like, I'm so glad they're doing the Crown Act here in Texas most recently, and trying to get those things passed of not being able to wear your hair. Like, I just think the flip side of that is just bizarre. Like, I'm going to say, sorry, no ponytails here. And if you come to school with a ponytail, I'm cutting it off. Because it's distracting. Because ponytails are distracting. Can we just talk about that for a minute? How is my braids and dreadlocks not, are more distracting than them ponytails that swish when people walk? I think we should be allowed to cut the ponytails off. Okay, maybe not.
Can you guys hold on a second? I need to put my hair in a ponytail.
No. But I'm glad to see you are embracing your crown. Your crown.
Well, I am glad you even brought up the Crown Act, because like so many people don't even understand the history of why natural hair is so hard to embrace for Black women, period. Okay. For so long. Well, even for started, if I want to take it back to slavery, I don't mean to be like the dad on Black AF, but like take it back to slavery. We had to wear wraps. We couldn't show our hair because we may be deemed too beautiful and distracting to the men in society. And then to go on from there, our hair in its natural state isn't professional. So then we have to spend either money on wigs or hours trying to straighten it. And believe me, back when my grandmother and mother were growing up, we did not have the same keratin treatment that we have today that actually helps. So I can only imagine what that was like for them. So it's and media in general. I was actually reading a book about how advertising through history in America has portrayed Blackness as not the default preferable aesthetic as far as beauty goes. So even in advertising, we're shown these images of ourselves and then told, but you need to do this to be beautiful. So it's a struggle when you don't even realize you're being inundated with messaging and everything telling you not to embrace your natural state, and then to try to then do the opposite and live proudly in it. It's an interesting dynamic to live through, I tell you.
I'll tell you, too, what one thing that was changing for me was watching How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, when she took her wig off,
she would always take her wig off every night, and you're like,
she in
real life.
Yeah,
that's real life.
Yes,
and I was so happy when she did that. What was funny was because last weekend I went out the house, and this woman, I know she was trying to be nice. So I went to this baldness because I have alopecia, and so then I was like, screw it. I'm just shaving it all off, and I'm just going to keep it like that. And this woman unknowingly, like, people just need to mind their own business. She wasn't trying to be hurtful. I know she wasn't. But she was like, oh, you're just so beautiful with your short hair. And I was just like, lady, like, she wasn't there. Katie was there. She remembers. Like, I was literally in tears for a full day. And I was like, it wasn't a day. It was like a week. And I'm like, I'm going to cut my hair off. And then we planned it that we were all going to be on the call when I did it, because I was like a complete wreck. And then I don't know what came over me, and I was just like, cut it off. And then I sent pictures, and then they're like, you look so pretty. And I still cried for another week. And she's like, oh, you look so people. I was like, not everybody. It's not a choice for everybody. It's not like, there's a lot of things that can affect your hair. But I will tell you, here's what's so funny. The other day, so my hair grows. It still grows from the front. It grows like on the top, and the alopecia's in the back and on the sides. And the other day I was so upset because I had to do a filming, and I was like, I have to cut my hair. And if in between, Todd will do it. My husband, which is a whole nother, again, can we just have him on the show next week? Because we talk about him every week. So I don't want him on the show ever. I take that back.
No. No, we may not.
And I was like, and he shaved it, and I was like, oh, and it's like 2 weeks past this. So it wasn't even that high. And I was like, it's amazing. Like at one point I used to feel so ugly, and now I feel prettier when I don't have hair. Like I feel like I can hold myself up high with no hair. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, you definitely should, because everyone does not have like the head shape for
and that was a risk.
Hair. And you definitely do. So like I'm not. I got some weird dents in the back. Like I
wasn't sure how that was going. I'm glad you said that, Ashley. I really didn't know how that was going to work out. And some people, their mamas didn't pick them up when they were little. They didn't know that
flat in the back.
Until you see that flat in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I was loved. Here's proof. Look, my head, I was not left in my crib. It's nice and round, but I was like, I know there's chickenpox scars in my head. Like, I was like, I know there's got to be
Start
things
feeling around
there.
in there like, what is
this? I have no idea of what's happening, but I'm glad that you did that and you're embracing your full self. And I think people don't realize, it's so interesting when you have the conversations that people don't realize, like just that, like we talk about bringing your whole self to work. Like even like number one, you don't want my whole self at your office. Trust. Number two is people don't realize like that's a struggle, right? Like literally it's a full day of getting your hair done. Yeah. I remember I had this weave and it was glue in back in the day, glue in weave. And I was like combing it and a whole piece like came out my head. And this lady was like, like she thought I like scalped myself with a paddle brush. She didn't know. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like holding it like this, like it's okay.
I think though the piece, like it is, I love that you said, just don't touch me. It's not even about the hair. It's just don't touch me. Because it's
up.
Yeah. I saw a comedian a few years ago and I thought this was just hilarious, but also very, very accurate. And he was talking about someone coming up and touching his wife's belly. Oh, because like just a random stranger and she was pregnant. And so, I'm going to come up and first it's the HR rule that I've always heard, and it's slightly inappropriate, is like, do not say anything about someone being pregnant unless there's a baby coming out of their body. Like
that's
don't
right.
ever
like
discuss
you crowning. It.
Yes.
You see the head. That's right.
And then, but it's the same thing so this comedian was like, so what my wife did is she just started rubbing the woman's belly too. And I'm, watching this laughing, but it was like that same thing of like, why would it be appropriate for some random stranger to be rubbing your belly? Like, no, don't touch me. Don't touch my hair. Don't touch anything. It's so yucky. But
that is gross. We were just talking about that when I was pregnant because my daughter is about to be 21 and, we were looking at pictures on Mother's Day and she was looking at these pictures. I was like, that's you. And I was pregnant and I was huge, but I had like 5 months to get like in the picture. And so we were talking about, people would always come up and say random things. And so I'll say like, oh, is it twins? And I was really upset one day. And my grandma said, just go with it. Like, you're never going to see him again. Like, just create stories. So then if people would say like, oh, are they twins? I'm like, actually, it's quintuplets. And I don't know who the father is. I was a part of an orgy for a film and I had my tubes tied, but now I have 5 babies and I don't know who the daddy is because there was like 30 guys there. I would just go off on all these stories and just look at people. Just because what? But she said, but don't, you have to finish it up by saying, but I'm taking donations. That's what she said. So that's what I started saying to people.
That's amazing.
I didn't get any.
Yes.
Here's my Venmo.
PayPal me.
I started a GoFundMe. What was that woman's name that got like implanted with like 12 babies and then had 8 or something like that?
Oh, like
yes.
Octomom or something. Whatever.
Octomom.
8. Yes.
That poor lady.
Mm-mm.
Well, we could talk about mental health next.
God bless her.
Oh,
there is that.
Yeah. So want to switch gears a little bit. So Jackye knows, and our listeners now know that you and I used to work together at GoDaddy, which was super fun. And one of the things
can I just say this?
Please.
Because very few people know this. Had it not been for you, Katee, literally, I don't know if I would still be at GoDaddy, for one. And two, I definitely would not be in the position that I'm in now. Like, you opened so many doors for me. First of all, I was devastated when you left. I'm like, y'all like can't even fill that spot. Like, who's going, what? Huh? So like I don't know who else you did it for. I'm sure I was not the only one, but I know for me, you set my career on a trajectory that I will never be able to thank you enough for, seriously.
Okay, well, thank you for making me cry right now.
She's mean. Don't make her cry.
I know.
It's because Katie's mean. So she made it easy for you. Anybody can fill those shoes. Meanie. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to make you stop crying.
Yes, thank you. That's what I need.
No problem.
Wow, thank you for saying that. That is very, very sweet of you.
I'm serious. I really mean it. Like, it's seriously, I don't know what my life would be like had I never met you.
I'm glad you said that, because Katee makes spaces. People don't know Katee makes spaces.
Yes.
She's intentional.
Yes.
But she is crabby.
I'm tricky, but crabby. I like to play tricks on people.
I don't mean like in the good way.
No, what I'm saying is we've talked about this. Anytime I like hear a CEO like repeat verbatim something I've said, I'm like, oh, you were listening. Great. But it is that, like, I'm calling it trickery. That's not the right word, but like just the ability to open doors or create like, oh, hey, you didn't know this person. You need to know them. You need to talk to them. They're someone that should be on a panel. They should be talking for you, blah, 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 whatever. Because I think that's the work. That's the work that we all have to be doing as allies. And yes, I just called myself an ally, but I know you're not supposed to self-proclaim that, but I'm here to open doors and pass the mic. Not right now, because I really like my mic. And I know,
I've got one too. It's nice.
I don't want to share it. But I do want to talk about employee resource groups and kind of what your thoughts are on it, because we've had a few guests on. One of them, Tara Robertson, was talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion should not report into HR and should be a direct to the CEO, which I agree with. And I think most organizations are starting to figure that out. But would love to hear just kind of your thoughts on employee resource groups. And obviously, I know you've been a big part of the group at GoDaddy, and groups, I should say, at GoDaddy. So would love to just hear some of your thoughts.
Sure. Well, a first thought. So I've heard like the different conversations that like the head of diversity should like, why they should report to like the CEO instead of HR and things like that. But what I've honestly kind of come to find in looking at what's happened to a lot of people that have been hired on as like heads of diversity, especially in this new wave, they need to report to whoever's going to actually listen. I've seen it where, okay, they report to the CEO, but the CEO is gatekeeping. I feel like they definitely need to be able to report to someone that's actually going to fight the fight with them instead of having to fight the fight alone. So I don't even know what structure that looks like at each individual company, but like I've seen just so many different situations where this person gets hired, they're ready to do the work, and then whoever they're reporting to is standing directly in their way. And they leave and they find another company and they try to go do it someplace else. But yeah, interesting thought on who that person should always report to.
I would say the person with the most money.
Now that's
with nothing to do. With a lot of money and no places to put it.
Yes. So, okay, anyway, not to be real. Okay, ERGs. ERGs are a wonderful thing, I'd say. Especially in tech. I haven't worked in banking. I haven't worked in, these other industries that I know can be white male dominated. But as I've seen in tech, without the ERGs, a lot of times you're reliant on friendships, connections, those circles that you're hoping can help you move around. And a lot of times in those circles, it is homogenous. So if you are different in any way, it's hard to tap into those circles. And this is where ERGs can either help or hurt. So I've seen, I'll say this. So I love that companies have ERGs. I don't love when companies have ERGs and they say, here's $1,000 for the year. You should just do something cool. They're not bought into the ERGs. The departments in the company do not leverage the groups. The groups have to independently navigate the workspaces on their own. That is not a good ERG environment. If you are not going to incorporate the employee resource groups into the business, there's no point. What you really have is a bunch of like-minded people in groups that have gotten together, and they could have done that organically. Where I say ERGs are a fantastic thing is where you actually have companies that support the groups, encourage the groups, allow the employees to lead the groups, but also encourage the entire business to lean into those groups. I do believe while ERGs are a great thing for employees to feel like they have people that look like them, possibly think like them, there to support them, there that understand their individual issues that other groups and demographics may not understand, it is a bigger gift to the business that you now have these demographics of people that you can lean into so that you can start creating better products, better advertising, actually include people that you wouldn't have normally included just because you just didn't have the frame of reference to include them because you've just never been exposed to it.
Equity.
Yep. I think that is where ERGs and BRGs really come into play. It's when the actual businesses leverage them to become better businesses. So yes, like I said, while it's great for the employees to have that peace of mind, they have those groups where they can actually let their hair down, be themselves, do whatever they need to do to decompress. It's important for the business. Businesses utilizing their ERGs are the difference between those fantastic Procter & Gamble ads that you see and Target just trotting out a Black family in the next catalog. So yeah, that's kind of my stance on ERGs. Now, also, you can't kind of like, you do have to put in some sort of metrics in the company that force that integration as well. You do have to let these departments know, like, hey, if you're going to do something for Black History Month, you got to loop in the Black ERG to make sure, one, you're doing it right, and two, that it's an inclusive campaign across the company. It's not just something that your team is doing. No one hears about it till it goes to market. It's something that everyone needs to be involved in. So those are my kind of 2 cents on ERGs. Also, just, being an ERG leader, for me, it's been a great way to help a lot of our members, one, try to move around the company and find those spaces and those connections, but also in this past year, to really destigmatize mental health and really encourage that and encourage a community where we are able to be candid and talk with each other about the things that are going on, that we're not carrying these huge weights on our shoulders until we finally break down and can't go forth anymore. We actually do have a support system that we've created where we do pour into each other, because we all know that you can't pour from an empty cup. So we personally in our ERG have had that opportunity to really become more of a family for each other, and really be there in times of need in at work and outside of work. So that's been a really great thing that I've loved to have been a part of. So yeah, ERGs.
Speaking of that, because I said I hate ERGs. Listen, I joined a cult recently, and I'm trying not to become completely radicalized. called the nap ministry. Rest as a form of resistance.
And we were talking about that at our
I
last meeting.
will
Yes.
not take on any additional work
Yes.
ever.
Yes, I said in
Including
our
my
meeting.
laundry, apparently. I just keep buying new clothes, but that's a whole different thing. I don't think that has to do with the ERGs. That's a whole different
But
thing.
no, I was telling our members, like, you know, a nap was probably our ancestors' wildest dreams. Like, you
That's
have
right.
to take a break. Like, yes, the hustle mentality is out there. Everybody's like, grind. You got to grind for the ancestors. They couldn't do it, so you have to. You know what else they couldn't do? Take a break.
Right.
And they will be proud of you for not running yourself ragged the way they were forced to.
That's
so,
right.
yes, absolutely.
I just feel, I feel like what I don't like are people have to understand, like, they have to be thoughtful and intentional with specifics and allow people to opt into those things and to nurture them. Otherwise, you're just creating a social group if you don't have those pieces. So I think it's thoughtful. And I think what is the reason I think it gets, why I look at it that way, is because you don't hear a lot about that. You see a lot of people put the ERGs on their website, on their career page. Oh, look, we have these ERGs, but they don't talk about what you're going to do in those ERGs and the impact it's had on the business. It's just like, look, you know, gay people, we have a place for you to hang out after work, at work. Thanks. Without saying, these are the impacts. This is what we've done. This is the corporate social responsibility. These are the things. This is whatever change that we've been able to implement so we can celebrate as an organization, this cool group of people. And you have to have enough people in order to make them work and sustain, like enough people that are going to be able to rotate and share some of those different things. But I'll let you know how my cult life goes.
Well, I want to second that motion on having enough people, okay? Because ERG work, I'll say, is hard. It is like having a second job. Mm-hmm. And one thing that our Black in Tech ERG has struggled with because of diversity is that population. So part of our work is truly getting out there. And really what we try to do, we're not trying to spin this whimsical tale of GoDaddy being like United Colors of Benetton and everyone's here and they're happy and we just skip through the hallways all day. But what we do say is, look, we're here. We all support each other. We're trying to get more people all over the company so we can have more support at all levels. And if you come in, it's not going to be easy. And you might experience some unpleasant things from some particular individuals. What we can tell you is we made sure it's not systematic and it's not systemic. And we are working to make sure that those individuals are not ruining the culture for everyone else. But we have work to do and we would love for you to come on that journey with us. So that's a big part of our work as an ERG, being a Black in tech or even like a Latinx in tech, is really, it is partially recruitment and letting people know that, yeah, this company does have a space for people that look like you. And yes, we're here. Is it perfect? Not at all. But we are doing the work to get it to a place where it is equitable.
I have two things I want to say. So the first one is, and you guys have kind of danced around this a little bit, but one of the biggest things that I do with organizations is ask them to put something in the goals for the folks that are leading, like in that core team for the ERG, so that they actually get paid to do the work and get, you know, kind of rated on how they're doing within that work. Because I think it is a second job, and you're, for the most part, most companies, you're doing it for free. And so being able to put that onto your goals or putting it into a bonus structure, whatever that looks like, so you can actually get paid for that work, because it is hard, it is heavy, and you want to take a nap, like Jackye in her cult. You want to join Jackye.
That's right.
Jackie's cult of napping, which I fully support.
I didn't know it was a cult. I joined the nap gang, so I don't.
Oh,
okay. So I can switch
the link in the chat and the show notes.
That seems more serious.
Yeah, you can blood in, blood out. You know, you have to take your nap. Yes.
Hey, this is William Tincup. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners. And these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids, HR pros. Mostly it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
And then the second point I have is exactly what we're talking about. Like, how are you actually, and this is Jackie's lane all day long. How are you using and working with your ERGs to help with your recruiting? How are you using ERG? And I'm saying leverage. How are you leveraging your ERGs to actually make an impact when it comes to who is out there? And I just remembered something. I remember we did a photo shoot for a conference, and little Miss Ashten came out. It was glorious because she was one of the tech folks in our call center, and she rocked it. That was a fun year because we also had a little girl who was one of the daughters of one of the engineers who was in it too, and she was the cutest thing ever. But yes, I think that's the representation without it being obvious or weird or looking like a Benetton ad, or just feeling like, oh, hey, we have these stock photos of one Black person, one Hispanic person, we've got one of each color, so we're all set. The end. Thank you. No, that's not how this works. So, yes, I want to use ERGs. I want to leverage them more, but I also like the idea of like the product piece, because I think there's also so many communities, so many different folks that aren't, and I don't mean, hey, we're going to translate our ads into Spanish. I mean, like, how are we actually reaching out to communities to say, hey, this is actually a great place to work. And also we have these awesome tools for that mom and pop restaurant, for, those different things. So now I'm going to talk too much about GoDaddy. So let's circle back to recruiting.
Well, I know that one thing that we do is we listen, we lean. So like I talked about in the panel on Startup Week, a lot of companies for a long time were waiting for people to just come to them. You'll come, we're so great. You're just going to come to us for work because we're so fantastic. Well, if you actually want a diverse workforce, you have to go where those communities are. So that's where we lean on our ERGs to tell us where to go. They know where they know where their communities are. So we absolutely lean on them to tell us where the new conferences are that we should be at, any new events that we need to show up at, anything that we need to be sponsoring. Where do we need to send our social responsibility team to help this community of entrepreneurs so that they know this is what GoDaddy does? So we lean in hard for them to tell us what to do, where to go, what we should look like even. I know I'll say for Afrotech. So Katee, you were there when we first started with Afrotech. So we were able to totally continue that. But
No, I'm sorry. You have to tell about the sweatshirt. So if you're going to talk about Afrotech, you have got to talk about this following that they had at Afrotech.
So Afrotech was started, I don't know how many years ago. Was it 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah. I think it's about 5 or 6.
So it started, it was like a 1 or 2 day conference the first time it started. So I'm like, Katee, here's this thing. It's called Afrotech. I've never seen anything like it. I think we need to go. So Katee was like, okay, well, since it's literally never been done before, how about you go and you make sure it's legit? So I'm like, okay, cool. I think I can do that. So she was like, you know what? How about not just you? We'll send the Black and Tech core team, and you all can give an assessment. So that way we get multiple voices and we can really figure out if this is legit. Because, I was just going to go down, come back, say, yep, this is it, we're going. So, so in preparing to go, we were just trying to figure out like what we weren't necessarily sponsoring. I know that we had donated some swag because they were putting together swag bags. So we did do that. As a partnership, but we weren't really sponsoring because it was mostly a recon mission. So we were trying to figure out, okay, what's a recon mission? So, we have to at least bring back some numbers to prove that there are people there that are qualified and can work. well, how do we even let them know that we're like a group of people that's trying to do this? Like, should we wear t-shirts? Maybe we should get sweatshirts. Okay, sweatshirts. What are the sweatshirts gonna look like? Well, we don't know. I don't know how we found this color, but the GoDaddy colors used to be like green and orange. We found this vendor that had these neon orange sweatshirts. I wish I had a picture. They were so bright. So we're walking around this conference. We all have these matching neon orange. Everybody else in like these muted professional colors, just kind of gray scales, some browns, earthy tones. Maybe you got a couple purples out there. We came in neon orange. Everybody just had to ask, like, who are y'all? What kind of gang is this? What is happening here? Like, the back says Black GoDaddy bit. What is this? So before we could even get to people to talk to them, we had to set up at a table in like the back of the conference space, because people were coming to talk to us to figure out who we were in these sweatshirts. We were all over Twitter. We would go to like Twitter, there was hashtags, Afrotech. It's nothing but who are these people in these orange sweatshirts? What are these orange sweatshirts? I don't know. I think that's GoDaddy. So GoDaddy's orange sweatshirts? What is GoDaddy? GoDaddy's the domain people. Oh, it's the domain people in the orange sweat. Like we were the buzz like for the day at that conference. I was like, oh my God, like, I think we have to do the orange sweatshirts again. So I think for like 2 or 3 years straight, we would always go in these orange sweatshirts, and people just knew, like even the conference organizers would shout us out on social media, like, here's GoDaddy in the orange sweatshirts again. So that kind of became our thing. But as we actually grew and actually sponsored to a point where we had a booth space, in this last year, I was actually part of our employer brand team now that, we kind of figure out how GoDaddy shows up in that marketplace when it comes to recruiting. And I kind of had that idea in that past year that, when we start going to these conferences that are specific to these communities, we need to stop pulling out the generic GoDaddy swag and actually create items that, and even if it's not a huge item, maybe it's not a t-shirt, maybe it's not an umbrella or something big that they take home, but it's something that speaks directly to that community. So my boss was like, okay, I like what you're saying, do it. I hate when that happens because I have so many great ideas and I always say them out loud and everybody's like, do it. I'm like, when? So that year, Afrotech was like kind of our bigger marquee conference that we were going to, where I now had the chance to figure out, okay, now I had this great idea. What does this look like? So for that particular year, I spent a lot of time just researching and figuring it out. I'm kind of like African American studies, like minor. So I got a little bit of history under my belt, but I was like, what can I create that's going to not be the usual, that's still going to be corporate friendly, and still speak to this community. So in that moment, I decided, okay, we're gonna go full motherland. I'm gonna find some wax print cloth. I'm gonna find some patterns, some Ankara patterns. I'm gonna figure out what's gonna look good, and I'm gonna figure this out. So I don't know if you all know how like wax print is made, but they're not exactly using Adobe Illustrator to do it. Like a lot of it is like these handmade patterns that have then been repeated over time by these manufacturers. So what I had to do was basically find a pattern, figure out how to illustrate it, and then kind of make it into some variation of GoDaddy colors, but still keep a lot of the tones that are used in those fabrics and patterns. And so I did that. Our team had t-shirts and hoodies with the Ankara print on it. And then we made stickers and enamel pins. It was a pin set. So one pin had the word #blurred, because blurred is Black nerd. And then one pin was in the shape of the continent of Africa with the print inside of it. And I just thought, it's a cool design, it's cute or whatever. I think this is cool. What literally ended up happening was people were coming to the booth. Because I'll like walk around the conference, come back to the booth, that kind of thing. People were literally coming to the booth, looking for me to hug me in tears because they had never seen a company create something that spoke directly to their community. There was actually this one guy who was from Nigeria, who sought me out. Like, I think I was walking through the expo hall and he was like, "Are you Ashten from GoDaddy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what did I do?"
Depends.
He was like, right? I'm like, "Depends on who's asking." And he was like, "Did you create this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I did that." And he was like, "You created an actual print." He was like, "You recreated an actual pattern that has meaning. And you actually, this is a real pattern, and you actually put it on this company's swag item for the," he was like, "You don't know how much this means to me." He was like, "I know it's just like an enamel pin." He was like, "But this is something that I'm going to treasure for a long time, because I never thought a company would care so much as to recreate a part of my culture to really represent me." So I was like, "Oh, so I have to keep doing this. I'm gonna have to actually research and sit down and really create the things, because if we're gonna go where they are,
Yep.
we have to speak their language." I think of it as like the conquistadors, the way they came to America. Like, I only imagine you show up on the American shores and Native Americans are here. They're like, "Oh, okay, you're speaking Spanish, talking about we're gonna take over and take all your land or kill you." And they're like, "I have no idea what you're saying. Would you like me to share some of our crops?" So, so in that, circling back, yes, we leverage our ERGs to not only tell us where to go, tell us where to show up, but we also, they are also there to tell us how we need to show up, what our messaging needs to be, what language we need to be speaking for this community to understand where we're coming from, to understand that we mean what we say, and that we're not just here to say, "We love diversity, come work for us," and we really don't.
By the way, just so you
No, you found it.
Oh, oh my goodness gracious.
I found it.
Those
That's
are some
right.
of my favorite people from GoDaddy.
That is really right. So if you're watching, this was the best. Look, this is for me from like 2018. That is the best. And the blurred.
Oh yeah, so that was the next year that we sponsored. So basically we're keeping, so apparently, I don't know, maybe I'm just the nerdiest Black person I know. I don't know. A lot of people had never heard the term blurred before when we first rolled it out at Afrotech on the swag. And people were coming up to us like, what does blurred mean? And I was just, "Black nerd. What do you mean, what does blurred mean? You should know that. You're Black and you're a nerd. You're at the STEC conference." What? So it went over so well that literally every year we just come back with a different variation of swag with that on it. It's almost,
I love it.
Our key thing for Afrotech is that we're bringing the blurreds to Afrotech. So
I love it.
We have it on hats now, stickers, enamel pins, you name it.
That is awesome.
Hey, how come you've never given? I thought we were like best friends. Like, why don't I have a blurred hat?
I don't have one. I do have my neon orange sweatshirt somewhere in my closet. Because I was like, I can't like donate this. Like,
What are you gonna
like,
do?
this is not a donatable item.
Like, can you imagine someone finding it at Goodwill? Like, no.
Like, yeah. I feel like that would be one that they'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know that we can put this in the store." Yeah, no. Anyhow, all right, Miss Ashten, thank you so much for being here. Our last question for you is, what is one thing that you want to make sure people take away from this conversation?
Just one thing? Oh my God.
I know, I'm sorry. This is the hard part.
I would say the one thing that can it be two things? Can I just make it two things?
Sure.
I'm going to make it two things.
Yeah, go. Yeah, there are no rules here, really.
So the first thing is always ask permission, no matter what. It's something that, so I've been having, so in COVID and all of the like stuff that's been going down in life and in our Black community and the things that we've been exposed to in the media constantly, it's been like just trauma on loop. Is I've started kind of I've started bringing in a counselor through our EAP counseling program, and we do group counseling sessions. And one thing he has always said, that no matter what, no matter if it's a question where you want to have a conversation with your friend or family about how you're feeling, whether or not you want to hug someone, whether or not you want to help someone, whether or not you even want to ask what someone's doing, whether if someone asks you a question and you want to make sure they're prepared for the answer. Always ask permission. So you see some beautiful hair you want to touch, don't touch it. Maybe ask permission. You don't ask permission for that. Just don't touch hair anymore. But always ask permission, no matter what. I even come to my friends when I'm upset, like, hey, I'm having a rough day. Do you have the bandwidth to talk about it? You know, or if somebody asks me a question like, why don't you know where you're from because you're Black? Like, why don't you know where your people are from? Are you sure you want me to answer that question? Like, you know, are you ready for what that answer might sound like? So always ask permission. And then the second one is let people be who they are. You learn so much when people are not distracted by trying to be whatever your definition of professionalism is, or distracted by whether or not their natural state is acceptable for the workplace. You can learn so much from an individual and where they're from, their background, what they've been through, what they do at home. Or you find out you have so many commonalities when they don't have to pretend to be something they're not. So always let people be who they are, whether you like it or not. They might not end up being your best friend, but you're probably going to take away a learning experience from it. So, yep, that's a takeaway. Just let people be, let them be their authentic selves, accept them as who they are. Whether that's acceptable for your life or not is for you to decide, but just let people be.
Awesome. Thank you. Jackye, what is your one thing?
So just going on, extending with that, like if you can't be, which is my quote, and I can't remember her name right now, you know, the lady that is the CEO of Essence Magazine that used to be at Target.
Yes.
I can't remember her name. But to quote her as she
I worked with her at Target.
I know. I quote her in every presentation I do. But as she says, that person, she always says, if people can't be who they are where they are, they don't change who they are, they change where they are. Mm-hmm. Say it.
Carolyn Wanga.
Yes.
Who is
philosopher and CEO of Essence Magazine.
And
interim.
very, no, she's full on now.
Okay. I was like, did she go full on? Because I knew it was interim. Anyway, so that continuing on to that, if you can't be who you are where you are, change where you are. Don't change who you are. That's what I'll say.
Awesome. Love it. Mine is don't touch anyone's hair. The end.
Period.
All right, folks. Thank you, Ashten, for being here. Truly, this has been so much fun, just catching up, but also hearing, your perspective on so many good things. So thank you for taking the time to be with us. This is Katie Van Horn.
And this is Jackye Clayton.
And this is the Inclusive AF podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.